So in this chapter, to make you remind, this is a quick revision that what we have done is we have done that there are human activities. Activities which are done by humans are known as human activities. Let me show you the flowchart. Activities which are done by human beings are known as human activities, and those activities can further be divided into economic and non-economic. Economic activities are the activities which are done with the motive of earning money and livelihood, and non-economic activities are the activities which are done out of love, affection, sympathy, right? Then economic activities can further be divided into business, profession, and employment. And non economic activities can be divided into religious, personal, social, patriotic, and emotional. Then we will be focusing now on the economic activities. In economic activities, business, uh, business is an economic about business. We studied the meaning of business, and then we studied the features of business. And we studied that an activity can be economic and non economic at the same time. These are the examples of economic and non economic activities given to you. Then the meaning of business we studied. The term business is derived from the word busy, and business is an economic activity involving production, purchase, procurement, or sale and exchange of goods and services for earning profit on a regular basis, and it is for the satisfaction of human needs. An element of risk is also present there. So, features of business also we studied. The features were derived from the meaning only. Then coming to profession. Profession is whenever we talk about profession, we think of doctors, we think of lawyers, we think about engineers, we think about teachers. So, profession is an economic activity which requires specialized knowledge. We are gaining some specialized skill, like a CA, which are applied by an individual in his work to earn his livelihood, and in return, that person is getting fee as their remuneration. And employment refers to the occupation in which people work for others and get remunerated in the form of wages. Remuneration means salary. Remunerated in the form of wages and salaries. It is a contract between two parties, one being the employer and the other being the employee. Features of business we have done already. Features of profession, body of knowledge, formal methods of training, fee as remuneration, existence of ethical code of conduct. Features of employment are commencement, relationship, qualification, reward of services, risk. Now, this is the difference between business, profession, and employment. Just go through this table and find out if you can understand it on your own, or should I? Yes, I'm again repeating the differences in brief and explaining you the difference between all of these. Difference between business, profession, and employment. This is an important question. In exam, you can be asked such type of questions. So first point is the difference in the meaning. Meaning, we always be writing the meaning which we have learned. Like a business is an economic activity involving production, purchase, or sale or exchange and distribution of goods and services for the satisfaction with a profit motive for the satisfaction of human needs. This meaning we will be writing. Then in profession, we will be writing that it is an occupation which involves application of personalized skills, specialized skills, and rendering expert services. And employment is a contract in which one is a contract or agreement between two persons in which and the between employer and employee, and the person gets salary or wages in return. Then mode of establishment. Mode of establishment, it is very easy to start the business. with the help of necessary capital and fulfillment of legal formalities, the formalities required by law, if required. Otherwise, in some very small businesses, it is not required at all. We start the business. This is our mode of establishment. That is the way in which we establish that particular thing. And profession, in profession, we need to have that certificate and degree. And after getting the certificate and the degree of that particular specialized skill, we can start with our professional practice. And employment is, we apply for the job, we get the appointment letter, we get the contract letter, we get the employment, and according to the terms and conditions of the employment, we start with the job. Then there is nature of work. What kind of work is involved in that? In business, production, purchase, sale, exchange, and transfer. That we are producing something or we are procuring it from outside, like I told you that we purchase the computer parts from outside, or we purchase the parts of car from outside, or sale or exchange, that we are selling it to the outsiders or we are exchanging it, or transfer. All these are kind of similar words. So this is the nature of work, this is the type of work which we do in business. Then coming to profession, in profession what we do is whatever specialized skills we have, those professional skills, with the help of those professional skills we help our clients. And in employment, according to the terms and conditions of the employment, whatever the rules and regulations the employer has told us, according to that we work in the job. Then qualification. In business, no formal qualification is required. Even a person who is uneducated can start with the business, but it is preferred that you have a formal education, so you will be able to run it well. And in profession, professional qualification is required. It is a must. You must have that particular degree with you. And then, based on the nature and job profile, in employment, depending on the type of job, whatever the requirements of the job, you should have that much of qualification. Like we read in the newspaper, every time in the classifieds column, there are a lot of jobs given over there, and the requirements are also given beneath that. That you must be doing in English also, in what you make that thing advertisement you make or something like that. I have seen the students writing that. Now, reward or return. What we get in return? In business, we are taking the risk, and in return of risk, what we are getting profits. And we have one more line also, which is always spoken with profit: higher the risk, higher the profit. Higher the risk, comma, higher the profit. This is what we always write. And in profession, what we get? In profession, we get the fees. And like we give fees to the doctor, we give fees to the lawyer, advocate, right? Then in job, what we are getting? In job, we are getting remuneration or salary. Just a sec. Who is the student Vanshu Bajaj who is entering and going again? Vanshu, please stay in the class if you want to attend the class. Don't keep on coming and going. Right? Now, where were we? Yes. Reward or return. In reward or return, in return of our we provide the services to the employer, and in return of that, what we get? Wages is given to the blue collar workers who do a lot of physical work. Salaries is given to the white collar workers who work in offices, who have education. And monetary means when the salary or wages are paid in money, when they are paid in cash. And non monetary rewards are when they are paid in kind, Like I'm giving car to the employee, I'm giving laptop to the employee, or I'm giving some other facilities to the employee. I'm giving them that you can once one person told me that if we in the holidays, if we go out of Delhi, so that is remunerated, that is paid back, reimbursed from our company. So that is what, that is also a non monetary reward. Then coming to capital investment. Capital investment depends on the nature and the size of the business. When if the business is large, on a large scale, then we require more capital. If the business is on a small scale, vice versa. Then in profession, we require limited capital. We need to open up the clinic, we need to open up the office of the CEO, or we need to open the office of the lawyer, or we are sitting in the chamber. Then all these things, in these things capital is required. That also depends on the level at which you are working, the scale on which you are working. And in employment, no capital is required. Risk. Risk is there in business. Business cannot be separated from risk. Risk is always going with the business. So profits are uncertain and irregular due to presence of risk. And in profession, if the service lacks quality and satisfaction of the customers. For example, if a doctor is there and clients are not satisfied his service, so in a short span of time, no client will be coming, no patient will be coming, not client, patient, no patient will be coming to him. So risk depends on the type of service he is providing. Then in employment, if the terms and conditions are not met both by employer and employees as agreed upon, the employee is working in the organization, employer is not abiding by the rules and regulation, employee can leave the job. And if employer does not like the work of the employee, employer can terminate the employee from the service. This is the only risk present over there. Then transfer of interest. Transfer of interest means that if we can transfer the work to the other person, like in business, if in a sole proprietorship, for example, visualize a grocery store in which you go every day. No, no, nowadays we are not going. That we are purchasing bread from there, we are purchasing salt from there. For example, suppose the owner of that shop is going somewhere and he tells his son to sit at the shop for some days till he comes back. So that can be easily done. So transfer of interest is possible in business, but that is also dependent on what kind of business it is, and if that person is willing to transfer his interest or not. Then in profession it is not possible at all. A doctor, a lawyer, a CA cannot transfer interest. Transfer of interest is not possible in profession. A surgeon cannot say that I'm not well today, so some other person can do the surgery. It is not possible at all. And in employment also it is not possible. Then code of conduct. Some
मैम
business
एक
in
क्वेश्चन।
yes beta.
मैम अगर कोई बिजनेस में मैम कोई पार्टनरशिप्स है।
Now coming to code of conduct, what do we mean by code of conduct? Some business in a particular industry may have to follow the norms set by their representative association, government, chamber of industries and commerce. Like when we are working in a business, we are working in the society. So there are some norms which are made by that association. You must have seen that in businesses in the same industry, there are other people and they decide upon something that all of us will be behaving like this only. No one will be going out of these rules. So these code of conduct can be decided by the association. Then ethical code of conduct. Then in profession, ethical code of conduct is compulsory to be followed as set by the professional bodies of the organization, like in CA and in medical profession, whatever the ethics they have made, the rules and regulation that must be followed by that professional. And in employment, the terms and conditions which are decided between the employer and employee while making the agreement, like the terms and conditions that you will be coming to the school by 7:50 and you will be going by 3 p.m. So these terms and conditions the employee must follow. So these were the difference between business, profession, and employment. If you want to write it in the notebook, you can write, or it is better that you learn directly from the book because learning also takes time. And then learn it and then write all the points and then keep revising it so that you get to learn all these things. Now, today I'm giving you just a brief introduction about classification of business activities, and we will be it is a big topic and we will be doing it in detail. Now, classification of business activities. What do we mean by classification of business activities? The business activities are of different types. Sometimes we are producing something, sometimes we are not producing anything, we have just purchased that particular product from the manufacturer, the one who is making it, and we are just selling it. That is known as trading. That we have not opened any factory, we are purchasing it and we are selling it, and the margin we are putting in our pocket. That is known as trading. So, in one activity, we are producing something, and one is that we are producing the raw material, and the other thing is that from the raw material, we are making the finished product. So, different activities are there. Business is a very big term, and in that big term, there are various kinds of activities going on. So, we classify all those activities. Business can be broadly classified into industry and commerce. And then commerce can also be divided into trade and auxiliaries to trade. And then trade can also be further divided into internal trade and external trade. Internal trade is the trade happening, taking place within the boundaries of our country. Like within India only we are trading. And external trade means that the trade, the business activities which are carried out of India, that will be external trade. And then internal trade can further be divided into wholesale trade and retail trade. That we are selling in wholesale, so it is wholesale trade. And if we are selling in smaller quantities, that is considered as retail trade. If we are selling directly to the customer. And there are auxiliaries to trade like transportation, banking, insurance, advertising, warehousing. All these are considered as auxiliaries to trade. Now, coming to the meaning of industry. What do we understand by industry? Industry is, it refers to an activity which is related to extraction. That is, we are extracting something from the from somewhere, like we are extracting coal, we are extracting gold from the gold mine. So this is extraction. Production, we are producing something. It can be production, then breeding and processing of raw material into goods and rendering of services. That we are converting material into intermediate goods for further processing or finished goods for final consumption.